Here's the thing about leadership, and this is where the confusion comes from. I think people confuse leadership because somebody's doing better. Leadership is not about status. It's about who can bring out the best out of you or can bring out the best out of a person. And often, and we see this a lot of times, someone cannot have the status or can have a lower status, but it can have the most influence. They understand that it's not about the transaction, it's about the relationship. It's a relationship game. And you have to get to know people better. And the reason why it's a relationship game is because they know it's about the people. It's empowering the person. It's showing that person that you care about them and you care in the direction that they're going into. It also shows that you're willing to take lead in something that you have experience in. It's simply the fact that you care. That's it. If I decide to take lead on anything, that means I'm protecting the people behind me. I want to show them a better way of life. I want to provide a pathway. And if you're not a people person, unfortunately, people are everywhere. But if you're not a people's person and you're in the role of leadership, ideally you want to partner with somebody that has that kind of influence, that has those leadership characteristics that's going to motivate. I've had leaders where they didn't have or they lack empathy. They couldn't be empathetic to a situation. They were data driven. Only thing they saw was results. Like, why can't you deliver on this? I asked you to do X, X, S, Y, and Z. They're not considering if somebody may be having an off day for the first time in months, right? You haven't seen anything from them, and all of a sudden they going down this down spiral. It's your job to pay attention, to go in and say, hey, I noticed in this decline in your performance. Is everything okay at home? Is everything okay with you? You know, these are the questions that you have to figure out. But it takes time to engage and get to know the people. And if you're not willing to give that amount of time to build that rapport, to build that confidence in that person, to say, hey, listen, I'm willing to outperform for this person because they took time to get to know me. They were concerned when I was having some issues. You know, these are the things that we have to focus on as a leader. And that's why it boils down to leaders are nothing but relationship builders. That's what it is. We build relationships along the way as we execute. And we build so solid and meaningful relationships that they last forever. When leader leaves a company and this leader has been a great leader to a lot of people, people talk about them in positive ways. Their name still carries on. So even if, let's say 5 years from now, our next leader is operating and they're not performing as to the caliber or they're not performing as to the degree as the previous leader, it's going to be noticeable, but also it's going to reflect back to why that other leader was necessary. People are always going to refer back to when this leader was around. Coming in to someone that was a relationship builder and knew how to lead from the people, from core values, from principle, then you have to step up your game. You have to realize, like, hey, listen, I'm competing with a shadow. Unfortunately, that's the name of the game. If somebody has built that rapport, you have to come in and build a stronger rapport in order to win over that group of people, those employees, or that leadership group, right? You have to go in and you have to be empathetic. You have to be caring. You have to be understanding. You have to be open. You have to be somebody that people would like to come and have conversations with. You may not have the time, but in time, people will realize the difference when you say, hey, listen, can I circle back with you? That you really mean it because you build a reputation of circling back with people versus you build a reputation of saying I'm busy because you didn't make time because you weren't empathetic to whatever the situation was. And it could have been something that was serious, but because you brushed them off, you know how that goes. But circle back, build a relationship with your team. Leadership is not about status. Leadership is not about, material or who has more. It's about who can influence the next person to become better and to put them on a path that's going to make sure that they secure their life in the future. Be that person that adds value and over deliver for them.